Welcome to Mile High Reefers. I'm Scott Anderson, and it's been about 13 years since I started my channel. Seems like a long time, but it's kind of easy when you only make one video a year. Yeah, it's been about a year since my last video, so I thought, what a good time for a tank update. Maybe at the end I'll give you a little bit of a life update. We'll just talk about what's going on. So, quick little summary. This tank is a 210-gallon reef tank. Started as a 90-gallon sitting right here. Added the basement sump to it later on, about 6 months into owning it. And then about 2 years after the 90-gallon was set up, I took the tank out and put the 210 up. So this whole setup has been about a 13-year evolution to get to where I am today. So that's all really cool, and I think it's really fun that now we get to go take a look at a 10-year running reef tank. This tank has been running continuously for 10 years in this setup. All the parts continued as a system with parts taken off and removed. 13 years old. Pretty cool in my opinion. So in today's video, we'll do a tank update. I'm going to take you on a little tank tour. And then I think at the end, let's just stop and I'll do a quick little life update. Tell you what's going on with me, my life, and probably explain why I'm not making a ton more videos. All right, let's take a look at the tank. Here's the whole tank overview, and I think the tank's looking really good. You'll notice on the left, the lighting's a lot more white. That's because I have a Kessel that the blue channel went bad on. Suckmaster. Now I gotta look at whitest light. It actually looks pretty cool. It looks like there's a sunbeam or something going down it. It's not horrible, but I wish the color matched. It's fine, but I don't want to spend the money on a new Kessel. So here we are. Well, let's kind of talk about fish for a minute. Fish are doing pretty darn good. Biggest problem I have in this tank is my Vlamingi Tang. This big boy right here. That guy, he's a beautiful fish. But let's face it, he is way too big for this tank. He's the main reason I got to do so many water changes. That guy eats a lot of food. All that food produces a lot of waste, which all that waste has to go somewhere. Well, that's why I got so much algae, right? I still got 3 clowns in this tank, and this guy up front, that is Nemo. Oh yeah, Nemo is my first fish. Got him in 2006. He's kind of going in and out of focus, but don't worry about that. Yeah, got him in 2006. So near as makes no difference. 20-year-old fish. February of 2006. I bought that guy as a tank-raised clown at Petco. Here he is 20 years later, still in my tank. Couldn't be happier. And no, that's not an anemone they're in. That is a cool little toadstool leather. My yellow tang, he still looks like crap, but he has severe HLLE caused by the fact that he is the first yellow tang raised in captivity and sold. He is from that very first group. No idea how many of these fish are left, but I gotta imagine at this point, not so many. So I am just ecstatic that this guy is still here, still doing well. Like, I thought this guy was gonna die 5 years ago. And he just keeps going. He keeps doing so good. I'm so happy I was able to give this guy a good home. My Tomini is doing well. Another rescue tang, bristle-tooth tang. Love this guy. He has just been the best fish. He swims around, cleans, doesn't put out that much waste. He's been fantastic. Got him as a rescue. I love this guy. The 3 little blue fish you see up there, Those are sapphire damsels. Those guys are like 7 years old, 8 years old, something like that. They just got their own little territory. They hang out. They're blue. They're beautiful. They go in and out of the rocks, and sometimes they fight with each other. Great fish. And then there's a blue and yellow azure damsel. Everybody hates damsels, but these three have done very, very well for me. Like, no issues whatsoever. And then there's my third clownfish. And that's it. That's all I got left for fish. Kind of how I like it these days. We're going low on fish. I'm committed to doing the best thing for these fish, but not getting more. All right, let's talk about coral. Seems like I've got a lot. Ooh, should we start on the left side of the tank or the right? I say left. So if I'm having any problems with this tank, it's called overgrowth. Look at the length here between the base of that frog and the top. It's like 6 to 8 inches up, right? So everything's just growing up, growing out, shadowing everything down. So I've kind of had to remove everything down here because it's dying out. And now what I'm working on is filling in this section with low light coral. One of my favorite low light corals is gold Leptoseris. You can see this thing's growing in pretty much shadow, and it's doing good. This is light shadow, not full shade. But these are absolutely beautiful, really easy to take care of. Love them. And you're going to see there's a lot in here. It grows very well in here. I break it up, move it around. Got some branching Sophastria back there. That stuff's really cool. Super slow to grow, especially the branching stuff. We've got some of the orange Leptoseris in here. We've got some of the purple. Yeah, there's an Aptasia. This is a chalice of some sort, not sure what the name of it is. And then, always got a few volunteers that show up. And, the ones that pop up on their own, I let live as long as they're okay. That stuff, it overgrows, and I pull it like a weed when necessary. But only when necessary. Oh, in case you wanted to know, Ocellaris. And here's the left side of the tank. As you can see, as you go up where the lights are, the Euphyllia do great. And as we go down, same kind of thing we got going on down below. Everything starts to get shadowed. So we've got more of the purple Lepto. That's a really expensive Monty. Can't remember the name off of my top of my head. We've got a spaghetti leather. We got another piece of the orange branching branch. I suck at my job. We've got the Leptoseris, but as you can see, it plates out like a Monty sometimes. So I've got this cool plate of that same Leptoseris. Leptoseris, it's like a Montypora in that it plates, it encrusts, but it works in lower light. It's really cool stuff. In the highlight areas, everything is just super packed. Like, if there's light, these coral want to grow. So we've got some Duncans here, we've got some candy canes, we've got a few different types of Euphyllia in here. And of course, here's another view of that same section. So we've got the golds in here. This stuff used to have gold tips. Now it's just kind of purpley. I think it's kind of lighting, water quality related, flow related, all that. Really interesting the way this stuff changes colors, but the gold and the greens, those are both Yaya mensises. Super cool coral. It's growing really well in here. I'm really happy with it. Up top are a couple of what I'm calling Lazarus corals, and forgive the algae, it's just part of this tank. The Zoanthids in the back died off. They were gone from this tank. I didn't see them. I didn't know about them. Magically, they came back. Same spot. There must have been just the smallest number of cells. Grew into one spread into a bunch, and here we are today. Same kind of deal with the bird's nest. Bird's nest all died off until I found a little piece of it in the tank growing. Didn't know about it. And here it is. It's grown back. It grows out of control again. And it's hard to find places for it. And of course, like I have with bird's nest, I get large colonies, something happens, the colony collapses, and then it regrows. Pretty crazy stuff. My pineapple brain, this is one from the 90 gallons. So this coral is 10 plus years old. It's huge. It's done really well in here. It's probably closer to 12 or 13 years old that I've personally owned it. And then we've got some blastos below it, another nice platy gyra down here. And the one back there, that's actually from reef stock. Evan did a cutting video on that. I don't know, back when, right after COVID, right? Or right before COVID, so 2020. And so that's what that thing's grown since 2020. I glued it down, glued it to the base, and then it's grown all the way up since 2020. So that's about 5 years of growth, pretty slow growing, but it's nice having that little reminder of one of the best reef stocks and one of the coolest cuttings, because Jake and Evan were up there doing that kind of stuff, passing coral out. I loved it. At the same cutting event was this green Monipora, so obviously I got that at the same time, and it's been a super slow grower. I've broken little pieces off because it will try to shade everything out, but for the most part, it's perfect there because it gets tons of light, tons of flow, but doesn't grow too fast. If you'll remember, I used to have a giant mushroom, well, it died, mushroom, toadstool, and that's all that's left of it. So the big one's dead, but I still got that little piece back there. So I haven't lost the entire thing, but I still got a nice little chunk of it. Next here, there's some of my brains. No idea what that is. I ordered it from Live Aquaria like 12 years ago. Came in as a platygyra, looked like a platygyra, sure doesn't look like a platygyra today. I got another brain below, don't remember the name of that thing either. That thing came from Worldwide Corals, pretty cool coral. Noticing a little aptasia I need to deal with next to it, so that needs fixed. And then behind it is an old Fiji one. Fiji, I think, is available again in the US, but this is from before that first Fiji ban went in, so pretty cool. I've kept it that long. Behind the brain is my chalice. Got a little Ocellaris there. Like I said, it just kind of grows like weed in this tank. And then we've got some purple Milka Stylo back there. That's from the Red Sea, one of the few corals in the hobby that originates from the Red Sea. Got that from Jake Adams many years ago, so I'm happy that coral's in there. Got some Euphilia, and then you kind of see a little green there. That is the spaghetti leather. So bottom of the tank, it's pretty brown. Top of the tank, it's pretty green. That's light and flow. That's the difference. Same coral. Literally the one on the bottom of the tank came from that exact piece. Just took it from the top, put it down low. All right, top shelf's doing pretty good. We've got some of the Atlantis pink tip, which has created all of this shelving, and then everything else over time has kind of grown on top of it as it's been died back. You can kind of see some of that happening here in real time. The Alieni pectinia has started throwing out the sweepers and killing it off here. This is all kind of growing out this way. I'm kind of running out of room for coral to grow, which is a problem. But the pectinia, it's just been a nice, good, slow grower, no issues. The Monty's there, and then I'm adding all of the gold frogs up top. We got some regular frogs, like anything I can find a place to put a coral that's highlight and it'll take it, I'm putting it there. So there's this kind of cool little layered coral channel, and this has all just happened over time with coral growth, right? So we've got the gold lepto on the bottom, little piece of the green cabbage, got a nice hide, that's another great one. We got the big Pally grandis above it. Above the Pally is a nice big frog. Behind them are some Montiporas, and then it goes up to my giant colony of potato chip coral or Pavona. Hopefully that's in focus. Can't tell on the camera right now. Not looking brilliant. So one of the big problems I have with this tank, and maybe a lot of you can relate, is my corals get too big. So this frog fell and broke one day, and this thing was massive. So it fell and broke, and I had to find new places for it. So that's part of that frog. 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 Like that was all one giant colony that fell, broke, and I had to redistribute it. That frog spawn's gonna take over this tank if I let it. Not everything has gone to plan. My Monipora died, so I started adding chalices to that area. These were chalices that were getting shadowed out in the tank. Really pretty corals, so since I've got an area with high light, high flow, let's give it to some new coral. And at this point, that's kind of how the management of this tank works. As something dies off, had a big coral in here, that's where that big leather was. Well, it died, so I'm filling it in with other coral from the tank. I'm not buying more. I don't need more coral. The Birdsnest broke a nice chunk off, so I'm trying it in another spot. Now I'll have 2 colonies since that stuff likes to die all the time. But then, you know, not everything's perfect. This toadstool's been angry for a long time. Don't know why. Not gonna worry about it. Just gonna let things happen as they do. This toadstool, I had a hide who's now down here, you can barely see it, who was up where that bird's nest was, and it was stinging the crap out of it. So it kind of burned this whole side of it, so I've dropped it down low, and now the toadstool is a little burned, he's a little angry, but the problem's solved. It should recover, but there's just not enough room for these giant freaking corals. Like, this toadstool's huge. The devil's hand below it's even bigger. Don't worry about the camera. Just because I'm a YouTuber doesn't mean I know how to run it. My little Fiji leather, it's doing perfect right here. It's loving the light, loving the flow. Everything's going right for it. So that's going well. The fox coral continues to thrive and doing really well. Unfortunately, the plate next to it, it's dying. I'm gonna let it die and see if it turns into a mother colony. Odds are it will not, but we're not gonna give up on it. Lobophytum leather has gotten massive. I've got another spaghetti leather back there, a little bit of Pavona, and a nice little Sophastria in there. And believe it or not, that's a nice little overview of this tank. Guess we can take a quick minute, talk about some of the equipment changes I've made. Still running 1 gyre, but the Glamorca I got from Jake finally kicked the bucket. The motor and everything worked, but all the plastics inside, they were finally done. 7 years on, I guess I can't complain too much. So I grabbed some old pumps, stuffed them on here. Not 100% happy with it. I look at the water on top. I'm not getting the circulation at the top, so I kind of got this dead spot there. That's the only thing I'm really not liking about it, but that's going pretty well. And of course, I've changed the lighting a little bit as well. So for lighting these days, I've got 1 Kessel in the back. That's the one the blue channel's out on, Suckmaster. I've got 4 tubes of T5s, 2 250 watt metal halides, 1 150 watt metal halide, and 2 Kessel A360Ss. Now, one of these Kessels quit working on me, took it off, so I took all the Kessels off the tank, and then magic happened, and it started working again. So we'll see how long it keeps working. Hopefully a long time. My sump and equipment room, it's a disaster. The top tanks, not used. Middle tank, I mean, they have water in them, water flows through them, but I'm not keeping coral in them. Not doing anything. Bottom sections, a refugium. Still running a giant old Aqua Sea protein skimmer. And then I'm using Calc Walser for my calcium alkalinity top off. And that's about all I'm doing with this tank. There's not much else. So natural algae, protein skimmer, calcium, alkalinity through calc, and that's about all I do. I don't even test my water. Probably should. Oh, and carbon GFO when I remember, which it looks like it's been a while. Probably ought to change that. So this tank is a fair bit of work. I mean, I'm doing 5-gallon water changes every week. So I'm probably doing like an hour's water change every week. scrubbing glass, all that kind of stuff, feed the fish every day. And then, you know, when things break, I got to stop, fix it, which seems like pretty continuous because I got tons of old equipment, tons of old gear, and it seems like something's usually going down. Be nice to upgrade to like new pumps, lights, all that kind of stuff. So that kind of stuff didn't break, but as all of you know, that's all really expensive. So let's do a tale of two tanks, because this one takes a fair bit of work, and this one takes like no work. This is my old Nano tank, running the Red Sea light on top. Skimmer's on here, but it's shut off. Looks like I need to top the water off. And really, that's what I do to this tank. Top the water, clean the glass, and that's it. If I can remember and I can be bothered, I will do a water change on this because that's how I maintain the calcium and alkalinity. But I usually forget, and this thing just thrives. So I've got easy coral in here, stuff that just grows, no real problems, and no fish to pollute anything. So once it's started, you got your lights, it just goes. This is the easiest tank I've ever had to keep. But easy doesn't necessarily mean boring. I mean, we got tons of coral in here. We got bounce mushrooms. We got gold leptos. We got a giant colony of chalice. Like, it's actually in the chalice shape. All of this is Japanese pink Nepthea. I mean, little frags of those sell for like $100. That's probably like $1,000 worth of coral right there. Freaking crazy, and it's beautiful. And it's it's a fairly rare species, and that's from Jake Adams. So all of that was put in as one little frag, and it's just grown out, and I love it. So, while there's no fish, kind of makes it boring, a little bit of algae, I don't clean it, I don't do jack to it. This thing just thrives. The corals do really well. I mean, little weird things happen, like I'll have Zoanthids colonies collapse, like who knows why? They're zoas. Don't know why they started to die, but they did. And the ones that survived, they're growing back. It's so easy. You just throw coral in and just let stuff grow, and what makes it, it makes it. All right, so there's the tank tour. Tank's doing well, I think everybody can say. Yeah, got my share of problems, algae, aptasia, it's all in there. Tank's 13 years old and gets a minimal amount of money put into it, and you know, enough time and effort to do a 5-gallon water change every week and scrub the glass. That's my maintenance routine. Put in the comments column if you want to see a video on why I do water changes, and on the Nano, don't do water changes. Could be fun. But my real plans going forward aren't to make a lot more videos. So that's one that's been kicking around in my head that'd be fun, but really my focus hasn't been on aquariums these days. When I started this channel, aquariums were my obsession. I loved them, I lived them, I breathed them. It's all I ever wanted to do. Well, my life has changed a lot in the last, 13 years.
Hello and welcome to Mile High Reefers. I'm Ian. Welcome to a video on reef stock.
Reef stock was huge.
That little kid who used to do the intro videos, well, he's about 15 years old. Going to high school, getting ready to drive. Pretty awesome. He really did grow up on me. Got divorced a few years ago. Just married the wrong person. And honestly, I didn't think the right person for me existed. Like, what are the odds? And I mean, just kind of do the math in your head that there is somebody out there who's vegan, has animal rights concerns, and used to keep reef tanks. Yeah, they don't exist. Until they do. In fact, for those of you who went to reef stock last year, or this year, whatever you want to call it, March of 25, you might have seen me there with what turned out to be my new girlfriend. That was actually our first date, reef stock. Yeah, she lived right down the street. We went to reef stock. She had kept reef tanks and aquariums in the past and was really interested to see it, which was pretty cool because she's also vegan like I am. She also has animal rights concerns like I do. Now, a lot of you might be kind of turned off by the whole vegan thing. Now, I do it for my health, and I do it for animal rights reasons. But I don't think there's anybody watching this channel who's not thinking we need to do the best thing for the animals. If you're watching this channel, you love animals, you want to do the best thing, and that's not so controversial. It's just, to what extent do you take it? I take it further than most. Turns out there's other people like me, and her name's Amber, and she's freaking awesome. Love that girl. She's great. So that's been a huge thing for me. Work a lot. Still make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Try to work as much overtime as I can get. Love to get a better job. Love to make more money, but for the time being, this is paying the bills, paying me pretty good. And I'm able to invest some money, hopefully get caught up in life, you know, be able to retire someday. That would be fun. So, you know, gotta work, gotta be an adult, can't just stay home and make reef tank videos. Got a real life I gotta do, right? I got a 15-year-old, need to do the right thing for him. We go to concerts a lot. That's always fun. Take the girlfriend to concerts a lot. That's always a good time. And that's really what my life has been focused on lately, is just living it for the people, not so much for YouTube, the aquarium, anything like that, just more for me and what my family is turning into, which is wonderful. So, Mile High Reefers, will I do more videos? I don't know. Thinking about it, like I said, kind of want to try another video on why I do water changes, why I don't do water changes, and you know, kind of an update to the old one of why I didn't do water changes back then, and it still holds up, but there are a lot of changes I could make. So that's a fun video that's been swirling through my head that maybe I'll make. Or maybe we'll come back here in another year and do another update at, you know, 14 years, you know. It'll be great, because it's been 14 years of silence. Wait, no, it's been awesome. So thank you for 13 great years of Mile High Reefers, and I'll see you guys on the next one.